Okay, so recording's on, lights are on, countdown time. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to the live show, Stress Less, the Self-Awareness Advantage. I just want to say at the beginning the most important thing, and that is that chronic stress has been linked to a 50% increased risk of developing major health issues such as heart problems, heart disease, diabetes, and severe depression. This stark reality really underscores the critical need to manage our stress effectively. I'm sure you'll agree. We all face stress in our daily lives. Of course we do, especially in this day and age. But whether it's from work, relationships, or just the daily grind, there's actually a powerful tool we can all use to manage and reduce that stress, and that tool is self-awareness. So that said, welcome everybody. I'm thrilled to have you join me for this week's Uncover the True You show. As I said before, stress less and the stress self-awareness advantage. Yes, today we are going to be talking about transforming your stress into success. Think about that. Today, we are going to investigate how becoming truly self-aware with who we are, what we want, and how we can achieve our goals can help us to stress less, and live far more fulfilling lives. But what is stress exactly? Why is it important to address that? You know, how can we manage it and enjoy a less stressful existence by practicing practical self-awareness wisdom into our daily routines? Excuse me 1 second. Self-awareness is about understanding our unique thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, recognizing how we're constantly influencing our actions and interactions with one another. Let's start with understanding what it's all about. What is stress? It's our body's natural response to challenges and demands. It's a built-in mechanism that prepares us to face or escape potential threats. I mentioned this in our promo video. It's so important to know that this fight or flight response can be changed around. We can address it. A fascinating study by the Stanford University, researchers at Stanford University, they discovered that viewing stress as a part of life, a part of daily life, that it's normal, it's natural, it can actually improve our health and increase your productivity when we realize that it's one of those things that naturally occurs. People who embrace that mindset, they accepted that they're going to get stressed, they're going to get anxious, be tense at certain moments in life, obviously. They experienced much fewer negative health symptoms and perform better under pressure. So we have to be self-aware about stress when we're feeling it and how we react to it. When we're anxious, we release certain hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which increase the heart rate, sharpen our senses, and prepare our muscles for reacting and activating. So when you think about it, short-term stress can actually be somewhat beneficial because by embracing that mindset, we experience less negativity as we meet those stress-inducing deadlines and rise to the challenges that we're presented with, yes? Take athletes, for example. They often experience a surge of adrenaline before competing, heightening their focus and physical performance, and such physical emotion motivates them and causes inspirational exhilaration, we could call it, before their event. But yet, on the other side, chronic stress we don't want, because that kind lingers day in, day out. It can negatively affect our health, anyone's health. It leads to issues such as anxiety, as we mentioned, depression, heart disease, gaining weight, and even confusion and memory loss. A study again by the American Psychological Association, they confirmed that chronic stress is a significant contributor to major health issues. So that said, stress does have its good and bad sides, okay? But in order to manage it effectively, our first step is to understand it well. So before we delve into how to deal with stressful moments in our life, let's consider how it can sometimes be a positive force. Dr. Kelly McGonigal, Gonigal, a health psychologist, she talks about the upside of stress in her book. It's called The Upside of Stress. She explains that how we perceive stress can change its impact on us. So knowing yourself, being self-aware of what's happening and your stressful situations can really change the game around. If we view stress as a challenge rather than a threat, we can harness its energy to improve our performance and resilience. Do you, by any chance, I'm looking at it now, I was using it to put some summer clothes away, you know, when you vacuum those bags. Do you, by any chance, own a Dyson Hoover or vacuum cleaner, as you call it in England many times? I've had one for years. Well, James Dyson, he built a new and improved vacuum cleaner, but it took years of facing stress and failure, creating over 5,000 prototypes before he achieved the success he was searching for. Try and try again, no? Try and try again, and you will succeed. There's a saying also that goes with that. It's documented so many times with famous people and scientists and well-known real people who we've learned so much from during the years, right? It's documented that instead of succumbing to stress, we can use it as a driving force to persevere and innovate, positively and perceive it. The illustration of stress in these stories that they positively perceived it as a catalyst for growth and achievement. And that sounds far much better than worrying and stressing about things. To switch it around, flip it around to a positive a force so that we can move forwards. But then again, while stress can have its benefits, it's crucial to be aware of it, address it, and any recurring worries we may have, be conscious of those, because ignoring or mishandling repetitive anxiety can, again, as we said before, lead to serious health problems. So it's important to prioritize your health, obviously, and well-being first. But repeatedly being in a state of stress has been linked to cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and mental health disorders. And of course, it weakens our immune system, and we certainly don't want that with all the challenges we have these days. We become more susceptible to illness. So whatever kind of stress we're talking about, addressing it isn't just reducing its negative impact, but also about improving our quality of life. Yeah. When we manage it effectively, we can enhance productivity we mentioned, also relationships, and increase our happiness. And who doesn't want to be happy? So as the title of the show says, the key to managing stress lies in self-awareness. So what do I mean by stress exactly? It's the conscious knowledge of our own character, feelings, and motives. The self-awareness part, okay? So when we're self-aware, we're more conscious about it. And we understand how we are influenced by our actions and interactions with others. Self-awareness is a crucial tool, a critical tool for managing our feelings and our day-to-day how we show up, because it helps us to recognize the signs and understand its sources. Researchers at California University, San Francisco actually, they conducted a study on mindfulness, because mindfulness comes into it, of course, which highlights a critical link between self-awareness and stress reduction. And that's what we're talking about today. They found that participants who practice mindfulness and consequent self-awareness showed significant reduction in their stress levels. And they remarkably improved in their overall well-being. So when we're present and conscious of our thoughts and feelings, we respond better to tough situations. There are two key components to internal self-awareness and external self-awareness, two key components to the whole self-awareness as it is. Internally, self-awareness is about understanding your own emotions, core values, and beliefs, recognizing your true strengths and weaknesses, and being honest about your needs and desires. External self-awareness, on the other hand, is an understanding of how others see you. It means being aware of the impact your behavior has on others and being conscious of their perceptions, what they think about you. Often we worry so much about what other people think of us. So we're focusing today on the internal self-awareness, our actions, our emotions, our feelings, rather than worrying about external input from everyone around us. The internal self-awareness helps us to identify where the stressful feelings are coming from and understand how our thoughts and emotions contribute to it. Whereas the external one we were talking about is an understanding of the social dynamics that are contributing to your anxiety and how you can navigate them more effectively. It's important being conscious of who you are and aware, because it empowers us to make choices that align with our true values and needs, rather than reacting impulsively to external pressures. So thinking about the mindset, thinking about our internal actions, when we understand ourselves better, we can develop healthier coping strategies and enjoy our work, social and family relationships. Let's look at some examples. Consider, for example, a CEO of a company. Let's call him Alex, okay? Alex is constantly, him or her, that's why I chose the name. Don't say him, Helen, at the beginning. Caught myself. Alex is constantly stressed about meeting quarterly targets, okay? You can imagine that. Maybe you do that yourself. By becoming more self-aware, Alex might realize that the stress stems from a fear of failure, not showing up as he should, and a desire to prove him or herself. Understanding that, Alex can address these underlying issues and deeper understand by developing also healthier ways to cope with the stress, such as delegating tasks, seeking support from the team, and of course, setting realistic goals. Very important to set realistic goals, because without realistic goals, obviously we might not succeed in our quest. I can totally relate to this, because when I started as an affiliate marketer, in a company, I became so stressed and overwhelmed until I signed up for their branding course, which actually turned out to be not just choosing my colors, logo, of course, layout and message, etc., for my purpose and the clients, but we also covered a self-awareness section where we were all invited to talk about our life preferences and possibilities, leading to uncovering some core values. And to know your core values is knowing your self-truth. So that experience is why I'm here today, as one of those coaches branched out and created his own amazing company and invited me to become a facilitator. And voila, here I am now taking some incredible individuals through their own complete discovery journey. And I love my job. I think that everyone should do this, but that's going down another rabbit hole. So to realize that once you know who you truly are, the question is, who am I? Finding yourself is often referred to as well. You can really connect to your self-awareness. So how do we do this? Let's explore some practical tips for managing stress. That's the subject about today's show, and how we can do this. Okay, so mindfulness, we already mentioned. Spending a few minutes each day focusing on your breath, observing your thoughts with purpose, without judgment, and bring your attention back to the present moment, to the now. Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about the now. He has a wonderful book called The Power of Now. If you haven't read it, I really recommend it. Simply sitting quiet and still, okay? It helps us become more aware of our thoughts and our feelings, allowing us to respond to stress more effectively. Understand where you're at, what it's all about. Reach in to your inner you. Take time out for yourself. Journaling also helps to reflect on our thoughts and feelings and gain insights into our stress triggers. Write down your thoughts and feelings regularly and reflect on them. And if you've had something that happened during the day, something that triggered you, stop and think about it. Write about it. How did you deal with that situation? How would you prefer to deal with that situation? We'll do some questions at the end of this talk, but think about it now. Was there something maybe that happened today, this week, that perhaps you could have managed in a different way? That's what we're looking at. Positive strategies, identifying the patterns and triggers to manage that. Ask trusted friends or colleagues for honest feedback. It's difficult to reach out sometimes, but often, however independent we are, it's good to reach out and get help, especially when you have those trusted special people around you. Understand how others perceive you, understand how they do, and use the information to gain a broader perspective. It can be tough to accept their opinions, but their feedback can help to identify blind spots and areas where you can improve your self-awareness. Just turn this air conditioning off. It's 34 degrees outside today, officially 29 in Spain. I hope you're having some sunshine and some decent weather. Where was I? Okay, so take time to think about your actions and observe your decisions. Ask yourself why you reacted in a certain way and what you can learn from the experience, as we mentioned just now. Taking time out for some serious reflection helps you to understand your particular stress triggers and develop healthier responses to challenging your life events, to having challenging life events, to be able to address them properly and hopefully have a happier outcome. Exercise. Exercise is a big one. Exercise is good for so many things in life. Exercise, meditation, spending time with loved ones, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy. The exercise might be your hobby, your meditation you might enjoy so much. Perhaps you're one of these people who has something particular that you, an activity that you share with your loved ones. It all helps you to develop healthy coping strategies, which are important. Find out what works for you and incorporate it into your daily routine. Something you can write down and think about again, journaling, meditating on, reflecting on. But set boundaries to protect your time and energy. When you have many people around you, you have projects that must be finished, deadlines. Set boundaries, set priorities in your projects and your time and energy. Learn to say no to things also that don't align with your values and priorities. If it's something that doesn't sit right with you, think about it. And sometimes you can say no. And in the end, perhaps a better outcome comes because the person finds someone else who just loves doing that particular project. It helps reduce stress for you and other people and create a more balanced life. Very important to be in balance, no? Be kind to yourself and practice self-compassion. Sometimes we put ourselves last, especially when you have a busy family life or you're very responsible in a high position at your work, or even just one of those people who thinks and cares so much about other people. Remember to stop, look after yourself and prioritize yourself. It's okay also to give yourself credit for your efforts. Celebrate, share things, reward yourself when you've done something that you're so happy to have achieved. And remember, it's also okay to make mistakes, okay? And many people now are focusing on the fact that they value people who make mistakes in their company. I read something the other day about someone who'd made a 6 million, must have been 600,000 or something, or 60,000 mistake in their, perhaps 6,000, I'm terrible with numbers, mistake in their company. And someone said, well, obviously you're going to fire that person. They said, no, I've just spent 6,000 on their lesson and I don't want them to take that knowledge now to another company. I can use it. So incredible how now making mistakes is revered, so to speak, but obviously we don't do it on purpose. But what they mean is taking action, sticking your neck out, not being afraid to try new things and give things a go. Yeah, just try and try. Edison and the light bulb, the one I mentioned about Dyson, many things. Okay, so it's okay to make mistakes. You deserve to also look after yourself. And of course, you can always sign up for a self-realization course, self-discovery course, to actualize and personally be guided to uncover and completely understand your self-truth. It really helps to have that precious knowledge at your fingertips. It's for the rest of your life. Obviously, we adapt and change, we become our best self, but then that best self changes. You have different priorities, different environments, different surroundings, people in your life, etc. So always be ready to change, to grow. But once you have that knowledge, it really is an impactful asset to have. Okay, so let's look at some real life applications of self-awareness, shall we? Understanding our emotions. Imagine you're at work and you receive an email that really upsets you. Instead of reacting immediately, why not take a moment to recognize how you feel, how it felt to read that email? Why are you feeling this way? What response did this trigger in you? By understanding your emotions, you can respond more calmly and constructively. So anything or anyone that upsets you, once you're self-aware of how you're feeling, and to be able to step back and think about it rather than reacting, it's how long you react, and to, as I said, step back from it and find a solution. Reach out to other people, obviously, and calm and not be stressed about it, okay? Be constructive. Okay, so also, what about relationships? Self-awareness helps us to communicate better with our friends and partners, obviously. You can express things with them more calmly and clearly, and listen to them with genuine compassion and empathy. Listen to people's concerns empathetically, compassionately, because you're aware and that they don't particularly want you to fix them. There's always, I've mentioned this on another call, but to be fixed isn't what many people want. We're so happy to know you're there for them, and to reach out and ask people if they've got 8 minutes, as Simon Sinek says. Maybe you've heard this before, but he connected with someone and she was having a problem. And he said, "Why didn't you let me know? I could have helped you." And she said, "I did many times," but she didn't specifically say, "I need you to come over." She was saying other words. And so they made a pact that each of them, if they were ever needing help from one another, would just say, "Have you got 8 minutes?" Because that was their sign to help each other. So you don't have to really just say, "I need help with this." You can have a signal between being besties with someone. I've already set that up with one of my friends. So I'm going down a rabbit hole there. For example, if you know that you tend to get stressed when you're feeling overwhelmed, let your partner know and work it out together to find a solution, yeah? Also, what about work? It improves your performance at work when you're aware, you're conscious of who you are and how you act, what your values are, your inner you, because it helps you understand what your core strengths are, your skills are, and what your possible weaknesses are, so that you know that you can accept that project. You know that that one doesn't quite fit you, and maybe John or Emily over there would be better suited. Or perhaps you need to go into that direction and ask them to teach you how to do that. Be honest and open and show up as you are, and you have better relationships with the workforce all around. For example, if you procrastinate when you're feeling stressed, yes, you can develop strategies to manage your time more effectively and take purposeful action steps forwards which leads to greater productivity and, of course, job satisfaction. And that sounds better, doesn't it? Of course, there are more benefits to being aware of your values and strengths and vision and mission in life beyond stress reduction. When you seriously embrace it, it improves your overall mental health, being self-aware of who you are. It enhances your relationships, as we've already mentioned, boosts the performance at work, but you're more likely to be in alignment with your decisions, who you authentically are, which leads to more success. So let's take a look at those benefits one by one. Okay, so being self-aware improves your mental health. It helps us to understand our emotions, develop healthy ways to cope with them. It helps us to recognize when we're feeling stressed, anxious, or depressed, and Take steps to address these feelings before they become a serious problem, okay? For example, if you notice that you're feeling anxious, maybe your heart's beating a little bit extra, you're feeling nervous, fearful, step back, take some deep breaths and bring yourself back into the now. Reset your emotions. Or take a walk in nature to calm down. Maybe you take your dog out for a walk, go for a bicycle ride, pop out the office for some fresh air, ask someone if they have a bit of time to come and have a coffee with you. Just change the state, as Tony Robbins says, to go to a different ambiance, a different environment for a while. Reflect, sit down and think and breathe. When we understand what makes us tick, we communicate more effectively with others and build stronger togetherness. You feel, I was going to say relationships again, but I've said that word so often. You build more rapport, right? When we're aware of our own needs and triggers, we express them more clearly. So you can communicate with others, listen to them, and also you communicate with genuine compassion and empathy, okay? It really leads to deeper connections. Understanding our strengths and weaknesses, we can develop better strategies to improve our performance at work. So if you tend to get distracted easily, you might create a more structured work environment so that you can stay focused. And that way you'll be more on the ball and more creative, have a clear pathway in your mind to do what you have to do, and probably do it in less time. It's clearer and easier once you develop your strategy, because you know how you will do it best, okay? Perhaps you watch the clock at work. Perhaps you are not focusing. So to realize what you're doing, to be in the now, when you catch yourself. So catch yourself when you're not in sync and not where you want to be, and you can get back on track. Okay, if you understand my gist there. Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Yeah. When we're in tune with ourselves, we tend to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and confidence. Self-awareness helps us to take control of our lives and make choices that align with our true values and needs. As I said before, let me share an example about stress and self-awareness. A successful marketing executive, constantly stressed about the job, working long hours, rarely taking breaks, and feeling very overwhelmed by responsibilities. Yeah. Despite their success, they're unhappy and their health's deteriorating. So what do you do? Attend a workshop on mindfulness and self-awareness, for example. During the workshop, you can realize that your stress was not just about the workload, but about the fear also of not being good enough. Perhaps the executive felt that need to prove themselves, and that fear was driving them to overwork. With such a newfound realization, you can begin to make changes in your life. Practice mindfulness and meditation daily to help us stay present and reduce that anxiety. Such a person in that situation can write a journal, helping them to reflect on their thoughts and feelings and recognize the stress triggers. Seeking feedback, as we mentioned, from our colleagues, and waking up to the fact that you don't need to do everything yourself. Yes, delegate, share, reach out. Look at the best way to continue on the pathway that you are, your goal and to the end game. So the following week, for example, you can start to delegate tasks and trust your team more and reduce the worry and the workload. Health would improve. You feel good because maybe you've got time now to rejoin the weekend hiking group, for example. By becoming more self-aware, we manage any sign of anxiety more effectively and I can enjoy, as I said before, the balanced lifestyle. So understanding those stress triggers Implementing those correction strategies helps us to develop healthier coping strategies and make choices that are aligned with our true core values, our possibilities, our capabilities in life, those strengths, those core strengths, know our skills. And that way we can make choices which really resonate with us, okay? Self-awareness empowers us to take control of our lives, believe more in intuitive feelings, and create a more balanced and fulfilling existence. Being aware, present in the now, do the doing to achieve the result you're aiming for. So we've spoken about what self-awareness is, how it's so important, the inner stressful feelings, the inner you, the stress created from external influences, and how to react, how to make use of stress to empower you and give you the energy to move forwards, yet not to let stress become chronic, because that is very impactful and degenerates our health and our lives in general, and affects other people, right? When we're happy and managing and coping and taking back control, then it helps other people also around us to see your successes, and we can help them in turn because we've learned how to manage stress. So I want to ask a couple of questions here. I want to ask, what common triggers cause you stress? Can you think about those? We mentioned earlier to have a little think. Have you thought about those? Did you write a couple down? And how becoming more self-aware do you believe you could help you manage these triggers? With what we've been going through, what do you think could help you? The various things we mentioned. Self-reflection, meditation, exercise, reaching out, healthy eating, awareness, so many possibilities. Of course, talking to someone who has been through what you're going through. Also, can you think of a recent situation where you reacted impulsively? Perhaps you were judgmental, perhaps you spoke before you'd finished listening or understanding the situation, or maybe the situation just really triggered you so much, back to the first question, that you just had to say something. How might a greater level of self-awareness have changed your response? How would you manage it now, thinking about what we've talked about? Okay. And one more question. How can you prioritize the incorporation of daily practices of self-awareness? What do you think will help you? What can you do? Get up earlier, have more time, jump in a cold shower to wake you up and get your thinking cap on. What do other people do so many times? Put your exercise clothes out there in the evening so that in the morning you have them there and you remember and you get take action. Maybe call an exercise buddy. Many things nowadays. So prioritizing the incorporation of daily practices of self-awareness, such as mindfulness or journaling. How can you bring them into your routine to better manage those moments of tension, of anxiety, of fear? Yes. So I hope this has been of value to you, and there's some small points somewhere that can bring you back to the now and calm down. The other day I had a car accident. I haven't had a car accident or any problems for 9 years. It's a car I've actually had for a long time, and no scratches on it until then. Mind you, there's no scratch on it. What happened was that I was driving down a narrow road. A car went past me to overtake me and cut off, and I swerved to the left, and there was a concrete surround for a tree, protecting the tree. And I went against this, but I didn't stop. I continued on with the shock of this person coming past so fast and cutting me off. And I cut one of my tires, and the other tire also had too much damage, so I had to get 2 new tires. But thinking of car accidents, the reason I mentioned this is it's waiting for something to happen to change. It's always better, obviously, to anticipate and to prepare and be ready for things before you get that awakening, impactful, unwanted event, right? We don't want someone to become ill before we take them flowers and say we love them. We don't want to not offer help to a neighbor that you see has difficulties, and then the next day what she was having difficulties with got much worse and you could have helped her in something. So self-awareness is also being aware of what's happening all around you, being in the present, being in the now. And I wish you great success with everything you do. Remember that the journey of self-awareness is ongoing, but every step you take brings you closer to a more balanced and fulfilled life. Take action and really think about whether truly understanding yourself could be the actual key to realizing many of your dreams and aspirations. Yes? So on that note, thank you for joining me, everyone, today on the Stress Less and the Self-Awareness Advantage. I hope you found it insightful and that you leave with some practical ideas and tools to help you manage your stressful situations with self-awareness. Join us at the same time, same place next week, when we'll be talking about all about the self-discovery roadmap. Okay, how do we discover ourselves? The first, especially the first, digging down deep into our past, where we come from, what happens in our childhood, our younger years, our teenage years, our early 20s. So the 13th of June next, same time, same place at 5 p.m. UK time, 1800 hours CET. So join us next week for the Self-Discovery Roadmap, strategies for realizing your dreams and aspirations, and check out how self-discovery can unlock new opportunities for you personally. On that note, have a super weekend, guys. Stay curious, stay mindful, and stress less. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Ciao.